Let's start this whole thing off with an observation. The world is a weird place, in my opinion. A lot of stuff that's happening right now, I would not have predicted 30, 40 years ago, even 10 years ago. Some of it. Weird, weird. So I'm not going to talk about that because that depresses me. And, well, I don't want to be depressed. So I'm not going to put my mind on it now. I'll be thinking about it later on because I do. But tonight I want to tell a story. I want to tell a story about lunch. There was a time many years ago, 30 years ago, that I began traveling internationally. And when I did on my first trip, I made a commitment to myself. I said that I was going to eat any food that was set in front of me anywhere I went, as long as at least one other person with me was eating it too. And so, of course, in the last 30 years, I've had a chance to travel to, work in 40 different countries on six continents. Yeah, we haven't gone to Antarctica, and I'm not sure that I will. Covered the other six. I've been to hundreds of cities, and I have worked with and made friends with thousands of people of all different sizes and shapes and colors. And one of the things that has amazed me the most on these trips has been food from all around the world. And it always comes up as a topic of conversation in any business meeting during lunch or dinner is something about the food that you're eating, especially if you're eating strange food from an American perspective in countries that eat things that are not normally on our menus. And the one of the funnest places that is China. China is a great place to have a meal, although translation can be tricky in some situations. I was at a luncheon. We're in a restaurant. I got about six guys with me, all Chinese, and the other 70 or 80 people in the restaurant are Chinese. Also, I'm the lone gringo at the outpost, and I was having a marvelous time. These people are a lot of fun. Some of them did not speak English, and some did. And I had a translator. His name was Ping Qua, and Ping was in charge of making sure I didn't get thrown in jail or have some other problems. And he translated for me and steered me around. We had an excellent dish. It was a beef dish with Chinese broccoli, just delicious. And I asked him, "What do they call this? What is this dish called?" And he got out his phone and he looked at his translation app and he got a big smile and he spoke reasonably good English, although he spoke English without a lot of innuendo or slang comprehension. He knew the translated English quite well, but he did not know um, different things that we might say in America that have different meanings. And so the reason I say this is when he smiled, I don't know whether he was smiling because he knew what he was going to say was going to hit me, or whether he's smiling because he was pleased he got the translation as fast as he did. But he looks up at me and he smiles and he said, "Ah, this is hot ass meat." And everybody around the table is nodding. Hot ass meat. Hot ass meat. And I was pinching my leg under the table to keep from just bursting out laughing. It would have been extremely inappropriate had I lost control in that environment with six Chinese businessmen. To burst out laughing at someone's translation would be quite gauche, especially in China, because they pride themselves on being quite good with English, and they are. They are, I have to say. Um, and so I'm sitting here pinching myself under the table, and out of nowhere, I honestly I did not even think about it. I just responded, "That's popular where I come from too." And everybody around the table was still nodding, going, "Hot ass meat, hot ass meat." And I noticed, I realized that the joke had gone, translation got me again. The joke had just gone over their head. And I was the only one that was now almost pissing my pants. I wanted to laugh so badly. You got to use the adverb. I wanted to laugh so badly I couldn't stand it. And now I'm pinching both legs as hard as I can on the skin, just making myself hurt so I don't laugh. And then the funniest part is at the end, Ping pops up and says, better translation, a spicy rump roast. And now I had to let out a tiny little giggle, and as respectively as I could, I went, and God, I just could not stand it any longer, and I excused myself to go to the restroom, and I had to laugh. And I'm sure the guy that came in after me, not from my party, some other Chinese man, he's an older fellow, had to have thought that the American has lost his gourd, because he's standing in there looking at the mirror, laughing at himself hysterically. Anyway, so the meal turned out fine, and I went back and got the recipe for hot ass meat, and I still cook it up once in a while. So hey, thanks for listening to the story. I appreciate it. We'll come back with some more. I got a lot of story about food, since I never turned any of it down, and some of it was quite bizarre. I'll see you again soon. Take care.